Over the weekend, an Abuja-based big boy, John Lyon, was popularly known as flaunting loads of money on social media, encouraging his followers to hustle, as well as giving motivational talks to Nigerian youths on the need to work hard, has been arrested by the police for allegedly belonging to a kidnap syndicate responsible for several high-profile abductions and robbery in the state and other parts of Niger State. Now, this story trended all weekend because people were showing videos of him, going to churches as a motivational speaker.
Worshipping God in tears.
And really praising God and thanking God and stuff like that. And you see, and we then bring this story to this conversation, like, okay, how do we even know? How do we get to this point as a people where we are so lavish in our lifestyle, yet behind closed doors, we do the worst things. And we're criminals, actually. What are your thoughts on this trending video? I mean, for those of you that haven't watched it, I think our producers will put some on the screen for you to have an idea what we're talking about. You can call us on 0812705367, 0913907694. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. I remember there was a time I was having a conversation. I mean, my husband was just talking, and I think I can't remember what I was saying. I can't remember what the conversation was about, but I remember he said something that struck me. He said, Morel, if you cannot say categorically, this is what this person is buying, selling to get money, don't even go there. Because I think we were talking about maybe admiring or celebrating somebody. He said, Morel, I can't do these things. I can't celebrate anybody because I don't know. I know if I call this person's name, is it you're selling biscuits or you're selling rice? I know that this is how you can't just tell me that you have money. So I can't be friends with people. I can't explain
but
it.
This guy has a job. He runs an interior decorating. He has a
Lyon
Interiors. Yes, he brings in Turkey furniture.
If you remember, there was a video that we saw. Somebody was saying it. That was TikTok. Someone was recording the video on Admiralty Way. If you recall, she's like, how many interior decorators do we need in this country? See, and you cannot tell me you're all really interior decors because we know ourselves. She was an interior decor. She did a video saying that how can you just put these things here all on Admiralty, just see all sorts. And I think it's just, how many of you are doing interior decor? We know you're just fronting for some kind of business. So these are part of the issues that we've seen. But what are your thoughts when you saw this video?
So for me, as a legitimate business woman that is counting each naira and growing it little by little, it makes the journey harder because you are not having to. Everybody looks at you and would assume you are not legit. You have to now prove yourself legit, and everybody assumes that everybody that has made it did it illegally because of stories like this, and there are several success stories that are legitimate. So for me, it was just a sad moment, especially when I now saw that he was also in church and he was crying in worship. When you see the church side of people, it's supposed to make you feel like there is legitimacy to what this person is doing. I had a transaction with a lady, and I'm going to refund her because she had so much fear. I even told her, I said, see, this is your level of fear. I think I should give you back your money. She said, yes. She said, I cannot trust you based on social media. I cannot trust you based on social media. I said, I don't know what, because she's just so stuck on the fact that it cannot be true. And this is why it makes it tougher for legitimate businesses to succeed, because they see false social media. Like I feel like this is who I am. But you've seen people that say this is who I am, and yet it's a camouflage. So it is extremely, extremely sad to see young people still taking this path. And it is important that we continue to speak truth to power when it happens. People were still supporting him and all of that. And asking questions. There's nothing wrong with you asking questions. What your husband said was very valid. If you don't know what the person is doing, ask. Are you serious? Is it inside this interior that you're making this kind of money? Show me the way. You know, that kind of thing. But I'm happy that the story came out, and my heart goes out to everyone who suffered for him to flaunt this wealth. Because several people had cried. People have cried, and some probably died in the course of him making this money that he was flaunting on social media. He's a kidnapper. Putting tears in people's faces so that he can smile and dance on Instagram.
Hey, sit dancing.
I'm telling you.
So this doesn't represent
the majority Nigerians I know.
Thank you.
Nigerians are hardworking, struggling daily, facing, obstacles in growth. Nigerians will invest money and something. I have been selling rice since 2019. If I tell you what my eyes have seen, you will say pack business and go. In fact, I thought of it this December, and then I had customers waiting for their stock. And they'll be demanding December. That's business for you. And so I know more Nigerians in that bracket who are daily doing neat, honest, sincere legal work. And they are being faced with life every day, and they have not been criminally inclined. When you see people like this, now their choice, so that's how they are. Soft life, no work, small work, plenty money.
But you think, Nima, that they will learn from, what's that guy's name, the puppy guy?
Puppy.
Yeah, they'll learn from the
puppy guy.
They'll learn from that.
The generation are not far apart.
It's
So,
the same
Hush
mindset.
Puppy, no, it's not. Anini would have been an example, something you've seen happened already. But all of them, him and Hush Puppy, they happened the same period. They are of the same era, that kind of thing. So, this doesn't in any way, this doesn't represent Nigeria.
Yeah, of course.
And I hope that the example that is necessary for the generations coming will be made of this person, if truly. Because just last week, I was talking to a magistrate friend of mine, a chief magistrate, and I said, that my case will be brought to your court. Those criminals, he said, Auntie, don't you ever use such word again. I have suspects. I don't have criminals. And if you charge them to my court, don't call them criminals until I find them
Guilty.
so. So let's just assume he's a suspect until...
Your thoughts on this, Miriam?
Mariah, I don't understand how you be a kidnapper or a criminal, and then when they catch you, you are crying more than anybody.
Yeah.
How are you able to cry? I expect that when they catch you, you know.
Yes,
that,
sir.
yes.
Time is up.
How are you begging and saying my wife has children? The people that you were kidnapping, you did not know that their own wives were getting pregnant and having babies. I could not believe it. For me, I don't think it's a sad story. I think it's a story of victory because he's an example, yet again, like Hush Puppy, to young people so that they know the end result of behavior like that. So I'm happy that this happened, and I'm happy it happened on social media because it's people like that who flaunt money and make it look like, we're working so hard, and we have been especially blessed and especially taken out by God to bless us. And then you have young people, especially young boys, working hard and thinking, something's wrong with me. I'm doing something wrong. Because how can this person be doing all this and still has enough money to flaunt on social media?
I also think,
myself.
I also want to
Can I do
think,
better?
I also want to remind us that a lot of people have an agenda to discredit the Nigerian police. When we hear a lot, because sometimes they do work and we celebrate them. Sometimes they do mess up and we highlight those the mess ups. However, we must remind ourselves that there's a whole syndicate of Nigerians who are saying our job is to continually discredit this institution.
Yes.
Because we want them to, when they make this kind of arrests, they can laugh at us, it's big, you're not with hunting, and you're not looking for fat boys, and you're not looking for those that have beards. We start labeling it. But there's a whole army because they can pay them.
Yes.
They have enough money. So, your own job just to continually discredit the Nigerian police.
On Twitter.
On Twitter, on social media. Let us have another, So we Nigerians must be able to have a clear view and see beyond that. Say, what? When our police is working, we must celebrate and appreciate the work they've done.
Thank you, our police officers. For the kidnapped man that you rescued, in Ogun State, and for this case as well. So this particular person, suspect or kidnapper that we're talking about, he fits into so many things that a lot of people find admirable these days. So he's a church person. He's a bearded guy, Abi. He likes to sing and do Snapchat and do videos. All the things that we like to watch, if you like that type. He's a motivational speaker. Hustle. Keep hustling, don't give up. Cool. And this is what we follow. And then he has all the followers that will follow him and think he's doing something. And I'm happy, again, I'm saying it, I'm happy that he has been made an example of. And I hope that this case is followed and he's prosecuted appropriately and justice is served. Yes. Because it is important, very important that our young children get this lesson and get it quick. Because he's not even that young. He's in his 30s. He's married, maybe with children. And we have a group of Nigerians going into their 40s and into their 50s, behaving like this, believing in people, in behaviors like this, teaching the next generation that it's okay. But it is not. And I'm just so happy that we have this example.
Let's go to a quick break. When we come back, we continue this conversation and take some phone calls and tweets. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Was arrested over the weekend. Let me take this call from Essie, calling from the Republic of Ireland. Good morning, Essie. Are you there?
Good morning.
You're live.
How are you today?
Very well.
Good. I think I have not watched this video. I'm just hearing about it now, but I have seen or noticed that it is possible in Nigeria that a lot of people manifest these dual personality issues. You know, it is obvious that this guy has dual personality stuff going on within him. For him to be able to have the church side and fool people with the church side and cry in worship, and also that in video, and come over to the internet and flaunt the other side. There's so much going on with this guy.
Yeah.
And for the church, I personally, I'm a pastor, and I do a lot of itinerary speaking. There was a time not too long ago I came to Nigeria, and while I was speaking, somebody just moved out of the congregation and began to spray money on my head. And I was offended, upset at that. The pastor was apologizing after, everything. And I believe it's one of the Yahoo boys, they call them. So these things are raising up their ugly heads here and there. It's showing itself in churches now. When imagine I was preaching, I came in from Ireland to preach in Nigeria, and somebody got up and started spraying me money as if I was in a marriage. So I was frozen. I didn't know what was happening. So the pastor of the church started apologizing.
Thank you, Essie. So some have said that we need special courts for these kind of crimes, so it doesn't go through that whole long stretch. You know how someone is, Evans took how many years? It's taken about 4 or 5 years, to get him convicted. Others are saying that when you have a criminal and the evidences are clear, there are some you have to investigate. But there are some that you have that is very clear. It's
even
crystal
in the video,
clear.
he said
it's
only 2.
So those kind of people, don't you think should be executed? Because the truth is that if you want to take this issue of the criminal elements we have in our country, if you want to take this matter seriously, we might need to borrow some things from either China, India, and some of these countries, because the truth is that, whether we like it or not, when people begin to see some drastic measures on the part of government in times like this, maybe they will take us seriously. Because the reason why Nigeria is so rife with these things is because we feel like our law enforcement is weak, there's impunity, I can always get out, and it can be a jailbreak, and I will get out, something will happen, I'll enter jail.
You can be in the prison and you're living large. You're still living well.
So something drastic must happen.
Why don't you first of all start with Why don't you first of all start with disassociating? This guy is very politically connected. The other one, Wadume, was even more politically, he was doing Afobaje, he was putting kings on throne in his region. And I wanted to interrupt when Miriam was talking that, each kidnapper in their area, this one was reigning in Bayelsa. Every of them, when the crimes become rife, they will colorize it with one ethnic group that, is with distant, they will not be able to find. So we need to sit up and do things real. When anybody finds out this person, the first thing you want to hear is every politician who has ever taken a picture mistakenly will say, I do not know. I have no business. People will come out and disassociate quickly so that he goes and faces his trial in court. Let's not be beclouding any crime with connection. That's all.
Let me take this call from Dr. Moyo. Good morning, Dr. Moyo. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Thanks for calling. You're live.
Yes. I want to clear something, though. A church attendee or a church goer is different from a Christian. A Christian is a Christ-like follower. Anybody that has no fruit of the Spirit is not a Christian. So anybody can be in church. They are two different things. So don't mix up a Christian and a church attendee. So there's all these words that pastors encourage people to be doing emotional outbursts in church. It does not mean that you have Holy Spirit. You can be crying, you can be doing any kind of drama. It's acting chaotic. It does not mean you have the Holy Spirit.
Acting chaotic.
So those are the things that we need to care.
Yes.
So they should bring a church.
So it's confusing the team.
Point taken, Esther.
Yeah,
That makes
but
a
the
lot of
truth
sense.
is that you cannot tell
Yeah.
until something like this happens.
But we must always
know
question.
that. But you will refer to the person as a Christian because the person goes to church, makes posts of himself crying in church. I find that weird. You go to church, you're praying to your God, and then there's a camera on you to show how emotional in the spirit you are with your God. There's just some red flags. You know, there's something that he said most of the time was like, keep your hustle private. And so that, you know, like he was encouraging, and a lot of people were like, we're now calling out people who can be private. Like, if you're doing something illegal, we can see why you would want to keep it private. But I think that the conversation is really about what you do with, you know, with your wealth. Most people who work hard are actually they're private because they don't even have the time to come out and be flaunting their work. And then they don't have the time or the mindset to come and flaunt the end of, you know, the work that they've done.
With the cash.
You are constantly entering into all those bushes, showing people everything. When people pay, are you coming to say, look at what they have paid me? You know, you have moved on to the next one. There's constantly something that you're doing next. But people that they just sat down, looked at someone, waited for their vulnerable time, collected their hard-earned money. Of course, they'll have to come and show it. So it's not really about working in private. I understand that, and I think it's a good thing. But it's a red flag for people that come and show raw cash. It's a red flag. I'm not saying everybody that does it is a kidnapper, but usually look at that as a red flag. Yeah. Secondly, I want to mention something because a particular celebrity took this conversation, calling out the girls that this boy has been with and said, all the girls that he has been spending money on, why didn't you ever ask him where he got the money from? It's good. But I know that many men don't discuss their financial whatever with women. But secondly, why are you not calling out his friends, the boys? That will be like, bros, show me the way.
Who he was buying out
the
all
people,
the drinks for.
Good. The ones that he's hanging out with morning till night. The ones that know that, I know this guy now. How did you go from point A to point Z in a few hours or in a few days? People that, friends of his that know exactly that this cannot be the right thing. Don't always make it about the girls that he's with. You know, and make it as if it's only women that are the sole reason for people behaving.
But I think it's even
way.
wrong and disrespectful to begin to accuse the young girls with him. Because the truth is that a girl can hang out with anybody. You can have a friend, your friend will keep yourself, your girl, the guy will keep his things secret. So if a girl is in company of that girl, there's a possibility she has no idea what he does. A lot of these girls are just hanging out with friends, so you can't judge somebody until you speak to her to know exactly how close are you? Are you in this with him? There are ways of knowing this, but it's unfair to judge somebody from outside. No, it's unfair.
It's not unfair. We were raised to ask somebody, what did I do for you for gifts? It's not strange to ask somebody, except you're arguing with your friends. You cannot be
let us be realistic. Let us be realistic.
For the money.
Let's be realistic.
That's not the business.
No, you don't know that.
You cannot know that.
You cannot know that. Let us be realistic.
Call out the girls.
That's why
don't call out anybody.
Call out somebody else.
People are adults. People are responsible. People are in
business.
People are individuals, and we must respect them. You are not caught. Until you've been caught, you are the one that the law has something against. Every other person associated with you is not the law's business to incorporate them into what you have it against you. And the girl and nobody and the public shouldn't judge them also for having associated with that person.
What I'm saying, we can judge. You are, in fact, as a young girl, when you are associated with girls and they are caught in setting, your parents will start to judge you from inside the house for your association. You're supposed to be discerning, to be wondering what kind of setting. You can be sitting with someone and he's taking his call secretly. If you're doing business, you meet him at his office. It's not only when you're hanging out at the clubs every day, the person is buying out bar. Top of you camouflage there.
Let me take this call.
You were chopping the life with him and you did not ask.
No.
It's about chopping the life.
Let me take this call from Chris and I'll come back to you. Good morning, Koya. Are you there? Hello? Reverend Koye, good morning. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning,
yes.
Orion.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, ladies over there.
Good morning.
Yes.
Yeah, let me first of all start with this. I wonder why you don't have any man on your view. I want you to have a man in your midst. It shouldn't be all ladies' affairs. Leaving that aside. The lesson from the arrest of this man. Don't envy any man. Don't measure yourself by the success of any other man. Our elders in Yoruba land say, "Isaleoro ulegbin." So we should be careful. If you are running because somebody else is making it and you are overstretching yourself, you are not doing yourself any good. Leaving that aside, Scripture said, God knows those that are His. It is not everyone you see in the house of God that is in alignment and right standing with God. Many are just there to mark time. Thank God somebody said that much. So the truth of the matter is, serve your God, know your God your own way, worship Him as much as you know, make your ways right with God. Don't envy any man. That is the greatest lesson we learn from this. And I hope that will not be lost on us. Good morning to you.
Thank you very much, Reverend. Somebody sent me a message and said, the guy is not a motivational speaker, but shares motivational quotes on social media. So let us not mix it up. I get that. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this young man who was recently arrested for kidnapping. Tako, you're going to say something.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to your point concerning making a strong, sending a strong message. I know some states have already passed into law that kidnapping is going to be punished by its sentencing to death. But we also know that all of them that are saying sentences to death, people that are on death row for years and nobody actually has died from being on death row. So we must become serious.
Actually, 10 years, yeah.
A few governments, a few state countries looking at what they feel is the most gruesome crime that is painting them really bad, created a very equally gruesome punishment just so that they can drive a strong message. Some of them have had issues with human rights violations because they feel like the implementation was wrong, but they knew what they were trying to achieve, and it was going to be tough to push anything right anyway. So I think that Nigeria needs to, we need to decide, what are we going to deal with? What are we ready to deal with this? And we have agencies. You know, in a few minutes, we'll be talking to the NDLA. They have been very, very effective in dealing with, of course, they keep finding more and more people, but at least they keep catching them. So what that means is agencies can still work in Nigeria and bring justice to kidnappers that are caught.
So what I want to hear from you is, so as I said earlier, we can get special courts
that would
and special
speed.
That will expedite these things. Also, we need a very, very gruesome is this sanction that we can give, or some kind of punishment.
Moreover, I think that we don't realize the impact of kidnapping on our economy. Many investors don't feel safe coming to Nigeria because they are scared to go into the different locations because of the kidnapping that happens on the road. People will be like, I don't want to, I've shut down my farm. Several people have shut down their farms in different remote areas. So when we calculate the impact financially on us as a nation and the way it projects, the image it gives us, we would take it as a very, very, like, this is a terrible thing. We need to deal with this.
Death by hanging. I've said it before.
I agree. On this one, I agree.
Let's take a few comments and we wrap up on this.
First sign the death before we hang. Okay.
All our governors are giving their life to Christ, so they can't sign death penalty.
Okay, so we have Illustrative Victor says, with all these easy cliches we hear these days, it has helped in masking fraud and crime. Cliches like, I'm working smart and not hard, or mind your business, small girl, big God, etc. are different ways for this person. Rolake says, the syndicate has backup, nothing will happen. This is someone that does not agree. It's a Nigerian thing. Most times we cut the branches but ignore the tree. Hush Puppy was a success because it was outside Nigeria, but this story is just a scene of the movie. Now you see me. We hope that our police will be able to prove Rolake wrong.
William Solajumoke says, there's always sign to know who to follow if you want to be legally successful. Watch the real hustlers. You don't see them flaunting their wealth on social media to intimidate others. There are always good people to use as role model, but we do prefer quick ways. He was saying, he said, I was making a good point about being raised to question it. Why did,
Ogumola Emmanuel says, now everybody gets in Papa Nemo. Don't judge me by my friends. I can be completely unaware of what they truly do. Even wives or husbands and children can be fooled by their partners on which work they actually do.
I have a caller.
Sorry. Immaculate Boy says, if I hang around Nima enough and don't see her go to court's office or take calls suggesting to legal business, I have the option of detaching from her if I can't ask or vouch to her source of abnormal wealth and expenditure. That's moral.
Okay, let me take this call. I think I have final call on this. Good morning, are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Okay, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay, my take about the topic, I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Okay. My take about the topic today, any legit business don't flaunt money. I so much believe in anybody that flaunts our money on social media, that business is not legit. And for the man going to church, praying, It's even bizarre for you to be in church and you're using your camera, even if the program is being covered, the camera, yours should not be something you come and flaunt on social media, telling us you're a Christian or you're flaunting the way you worship God. It should be done privately and not being shown to people. So I don't understand how you be in church and you're flaunting, you're doing something that doesn't tally with what you're practicing what you don't preach.
I think as we wrap up on this, thank you, Ogochi. I think really the truth is that everybody should walk their path and stop looking right, stop looking left. Stay on your course. Yeah, was it a few days ago when you're talking about I got a car and everything? You said, right, you've worked something. You said something that you've worked. I can't remember what you said. But you're trying to say that it's been a long time coming. I've been talking about a car for a long time. I've been driving the same car for 14 years. Since 2009, I think. I've been driving. So it's taken a long time to get this point where I was able to purchase the car. And that's because I'm not looking right, I'm not looking left. I just got a car. I'm going at my own pace.
Exactly.
As the money comes, I keep my money. And gradually I get to that point. So as a Nigerian, and you're working hard, don't be bothered on what people are doing on your left and right. Stay on your own pace. Yeah. You will get to that point. And that's why we shouldn't be moved by social media buzz, social media flamboyance. The truth is, we all have our paths. And at some point, we get to our destination. And let us also applaud the Nigerian police.
Yes.
When they goof, we'll be the first to say, "Eti goof, oh." But whenever they do well, I think it's important for us to celebrate them, to encourage them, because we need a functional security services in this country. If not, there'll be chaos all over the place. So I'm so happy for this. And we're going to go on a break now. We'll come back. We're going to bring another amazing department in the Nigerian government that actually works.